For decades, we've been told that losing weight is just a math problem, calories in, calories out. But if that's true, why does your biology actively fight you every time you try to drop a single pound?
That's a really great question. And I mean, it's the exact frustration driving this massive surge in research around GLP-1 medications right now, like Wegovy or Zepbound.
Yeah, exactly. People are just trying to figure out if these are actually the right option or it's just, another hyped up trend. So we wanted to spend this episode looking at what the clinical data actually says.
Right. And to really understand the research, I think we first have to look at the underlying barrier to weight loss, which is this hormone called ghrelin.
Right, ghrelin. Because when you lose weight, your brain essentially panics. It just pumps out ghrelin to force you to eat.
Yeah, which is why willpower alone usually can't beat that biological survival mechanism. It's too strong.
Exactly. And that's where these medications intervene. GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. It's actually a hormone we already produce naturally in our gut.
To signal satiety after a meal, right? Like to tell us we're full.
Right. But native GLP-1 fades really quickly. So these synthetic versions basically override the brain's natural panic response.
Oh, I see. But how do they actually do that?
Well, they basically act like a biological bouncer. These synthetic GLP-1s last much longer in the bloodstream, and they stand right outside the brain's hunger center.
Wait, so what you're saying is it's not just making you feel full, it's actively shutting down the biological hunger signal itself.
Yes, exactly. It blocks those Ghrelin panic signals from ever getting through. It fundamentally alters your satiety signaling, slows down your digestion, and regulates your blood sugar.
Wow, so it literally turns down the dial on that relentless craving.
It does, but that's something people misunderstand a lot. They hear shuts down hunger and assume the clinical trials show a rapid overnight fix with zero effort.
Yeah, I've seen that assumption a lot. But the clinical data strongly refutes that, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The research outlines a very specific gradual timeline. Like in the first few weeks, your appetite definitely decreases.
But that's also when side effects like nausea or, gastrointestinal issues often peak, right? As your body adjusts.
Exactly. Then, looking at the data for months 3 through 9, that's where we see steady weight loss.
And that's when patients usually make real changes in their eating habits as the dose gets titrated up by their doctor.
Right. But here's where the research gets really interesting. In months 9 to 18, weight loss naturally slows down, leading to a plateau.
Hold on, that might explain why people struggle later. What happens if a patient just stops taking the medication because they hit that plateau or because of the cost?
Well, the studies show that without the medication, that biological bouncer goes away. Ghrelin surges back.
So those intense hunger signals just return.
Yeah, gradually, but they return, often leading patients right back to where they started.
So if we step back for a second, what we're really saying is that this isn't a permanent biological rewrite. It's a tool that requires ongoing management.
Precisely. I mean, it's a lot like getting a cast removed. The medication fixes the immediate severe issue.
But you still need guided physical therapy, like nutrition coaching, to rebuild the habits.
Exactly, so you don't just break the bone again, which really explains the shift we're seeing in the patient data.
Right. People are moving away from treating this as just a quick cosmetic fix and turning toward serious long-term strategies.
Yeah. In fact, something we kept noticing while researching this episode was how often medically supervised GLP-1 programs were mentioned in patient case studies and discussions.
That's actually really interesting. Do those physician-guided programs help people navigate those specific 9 to 18-month plateaus we just talked about?
They really seem to. They integrate the medication management with actual nutrition planning, metabolic monitoring, and behavioral coaching.
So as the patient's metabolism naturally adapts, the program adapts with them.
Right. It makes a lot of sense for long-term effectiveness. It moves past that outdated embarrassment people feel.
Yeah, treating their metabolism like a complex system that needs guided rehabilitation instead of just a willpower failure.
Exactly. So if you're looking into this for yourself and want to see how that integration works, you can find a link in the description to learn more about the medically supervised program we kept seeing referenced in our research.
It really changes the whole paradigm of how we view weight management, placing the focus back on science rather than blame.
It really does. Which leaves you wondering, if we can biologically rewrite hunger today, how far are we from a future where we can medicate away other evolutionary drives?
Like the craving for sugar.
Or even the urge to procrastinate. Just something to chew on.